One bright morning at school, Tom and Betty were sitting in their classroom, excited for the day ahead. Their teacher, Mrs. Green, had announced that they would be learning about animals, and everyone was curious about what they would discover. "We're going to learn about owls today," Mrs. Green said, smiling as she held up a big picture book. "Owls are amazing creatures, and I have a special surprise for you." The children in the class whispered excitedly to each other. "Owls! That's so cool," Betty said, her eyes wide with excitement. "I love owls," Tom added, raising his hand. "Are we going to see one?" Mrs. Green smiled and nodded. "Yes, we are. But first, we're going to learn about them. Owls have big eyes that help them see in the dark, and they can turn their heads all the way around." The class listened intently as Mrs. Green told them all about the different types of owls, their habitats, and how they hunt. Then, she handed out worksheets with fun facts and pictures of owls for everyone to color. Just as Tom and Betty were coloring their owl pictures, something strange happened. The window flew open with a soft whoosh, and in flew a real owl. It glided through the room, making soft hooting sounds as it landed on a shelf near the window. "Wow!" Betty gasped. "An owl! It's real!" The children gasped in surprise and excitement, their eyes wide as they watched the owl. It had big golden eyes and soft brown feathers. Tom stood up and pointed. "Look at its wings! They're so big!" Mrs. Green smiled and said, "This is a special surprise I arranged for you all. Meet Ollie the Owl. Ollie is here to help us learn more about owls." Ollie the Owl blinked and gave a soft hoot, as if greeting the class. The children giggled, watching the owl closely as it moved around the room. "Ollie is a very special owl who loves visiting schools," Mrs. Green explained. "He's here to show you how owls really live. He's also a great example of how owls use their incredible vision and hearing." The children took turns asking Mrs. Green and Ollie questions about owls. "Can owls fly in the daytime?" asked one child. "How do they find food?" asked another. Betty raised her hand excitedly. "Do owls have families?" she asked. Mrs. Green nodded. "Yes, they do. Owls usually stay with their families and take care of their little ones, called owlets." After spending time with Ollie, it was time for the owl to return to his home. "Thank you for visiting us, Ollie," the children said as they waved goodbye. "I'm going to tell my parents all about the owl at school," Tom said, his face beaming. "Me too," Betty added. "This was the best day ever." Thanks for watching Tom, Betty, and the Owls at School on Artzy Monkey channel. Don't forget to subscribe for more fun stories, magical animals, and exciting classroom adventures.